I am so tired. Hi, you guys. It has been so long. Today's video format is going to be a little bit different than some of our other ones. It's not going to be as polished, pretty much just going to be a little bit of a Yap Sesh. Couldn't really call it a vlog because I'm not doing anything. And the reason why I'm not doing anything is because I have finally finished my submission to Webtoons for the 2025 Legends Contest. So my webtoon Healing Hearts, a story about a disillusioned Cupid named Raz and a very compassionate and unconventional Grim Reaper named Cari, teaming up to try to help their humans navigate issues between love, loss, and their relationships. That is finally up, guys. We were down to the wire on this. Like it was crazy. It was so much. I didn't even know until like right after, like we were so close that I was certain I wasn't going to get like all three of them in. And then right after I posted everything and just kind of got to go, then I saw Webtoon's announcement, and they were so sneaky and quiet about it for like the first hour or so. But like I finally saw Webtoon's announcement saying, hey, you guys have an extra 24 hours on this deadline. I, like many others, I feel like would have loved to have been able to have those 24 hours in advance. But of course, like, you know, it's just, I think it's better that it worked out that way, because then I got to spend all of yesterday essentially just relaxing, not worrying about it. I do hope that those 24 hours were very helpful to those of you who got to use it to submit. I saw tons of submissions coming in after that up until it officially announced its close. So if it was good for you and helped you get to a place where you were able to submit, fantastic. That's what it was there for. That's what we wanted it to be for. Even if we wish they had said something earlier about posting the submissions being open until like Friday. Just, you know, it's, I'd love to say it's a hindsight thing for us, but really it's Webtoons and their platform, so they're going to make those decisions. But I'm glad that people got those extra 24 hours and were able to do that. I myself am trying to figure out, what do I do for like everything. Like you see, like right now, like I'm playing like Good Coffee, Great Coffee, because for the past 2 months, oh my gosh, Maisie, you didn't get to pass? No. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I gotta get back into it. But for the past 2 months, you know, I've been completely like focused on trying to get this out, trying to get everything together, because I really didn't even start lining. I think I was still in the thumbnail stage. I can't speak today. Like my guys, when I tell you I press submit, and then for a moment, like everything just kind of like shut off, and it's like, it's over. And like not over. Obviously, we still have like the rest of like the contest era to go. But like I said, you know, we've been working on this for like at least 2 months. In my case, it's been literally since like March 10th, since I was able to like really sit down and like focus on it. It's been every single day. I know some people have been working as early as December or late November, whenever they first started talking about it. But this has been like a good half a year for most of us, or at least like most of this year. And it's just, you know, I think it's hard for us to have something that we were gearing up to like collectively, and then to be able to like post and finally just be like, okay, I'm done. And you're like, now what? You know? So it's like, it's a challenging thing, but I'm so excited that everybody, for everyone who was able to submit. If you weren't able to submit, that is okay. I do hope you will still post it though. Especially if you worked hard these past 2 to 6 months, you should definitely post it, because at the end of the day, you know, whatever happens with this contest, everybody is really just supposed to be more concerned, I think, with just finding their audience. Our stories need our audiences, and Webtoon is giving us a platform in order to do so. And I hope that you will still be able to share your story with your audience. But what was I saying? What do we do now? So obviously, I think it's super important that everybody be able to rest afterwards, and to be able to do, just get back into the things that you loved before. I made a joke earlier where I said I don't know what I liked doing before I started working on my webtoon. But it's small things like this, just getting into everything, and not letting ourselves, I think, lose sight of, even if we're super excited to be able to move forward in the contest, or if we don't move forward, whatever, just to be able to get back into stuff that we love, because regardless of whether you submitted or whether you're about to submit, you worked hard on this and you have started something, and however long your participation in the contest ends, this is going to continue. And obviously you'll have the opportunity to be able to pull back, and pause and communicate with your audience there and everything. But at the exact same time, it's so important right now to be able, I think, to rest for a moment. Maybe not for the full month, because I definitely think you should prepare your next 2, or is it 4 chapters for the comedy people? I completely forgot, for the most laughs. But you should definitely, I think, prepare yourself to start a little bit ahead of time, just to because by the time they announce it, if you think about it, right? By the time they announce the shortlist on June 23rd at the earliest, right? Because it said maybe it'll do it, but it didn't really say exactly. And who knows, obviously with the submission deadline, they kind of chose to take their time with that. So maybe they'll choose the same thing. But we have the submission deadline that goes from June 23rd, I think, until July 14th. That's not a long time. And I don't say that to scare anybody who has participated, but I think regardless of whether or not you think you're going to make it to the second round, you should prepare anyway. It is in your best interest to prepare and to do all of those things, just so that you don't kind of do yourself a disservice. Because what if you do make it? What if you're not planning on making it, and then you do, and you haven't done any work, and now barely 2 weeks, it's just not enough time for you to get the other episodes in. So I think, taking this week, or even 2 weeks, in order to just kind of help you decompress during this month while the judges are doing their judgy thing in the background, is super important for us. So definitely, make sure you are getting back to the things that you love. For me, it is video games of any kind. It's also reading, because I just got Sunrise on the Reaping right after I started, 2 weeks after I started working on my webtoon, and then I realized I cannot take the time really to read this, not as thoroughly, not during my off time, because it really, most of my off time is going to have to be dedicated to this. So definitely get back into the things that you love, whether that's something as some sort of an outlet somewhere. I definitely think that's really important to have an outlet that's not just webtoons stuff, right? But I think whether that's something like video games, or something like reading, or if you can stand drawing again. I'm one of those people where, even though I drew basically for the majority of these 2 months every single day, I still really felt the urge to keep drawing, or to draw something else immediately afterwards. It was so silly, because I was just you think I'd be sick of drawing? And if you are sick of drawing, that's okay. Obviously take that break, but get back into, you can get back into a TV show. You can go outside. It's not gonna, the sun's not gonna set before 8 p.m. until August. So that's a lot of time for us to get a little bit more sunlight in here, or at the very least, obviously light coming into our room and being able to enjoy that, since I know the majority of us were working on this before the time actually shifted forward. So we didn't really get we're working in darkness, really. So definitely be able to get yourself some of that. Oh, go and enjoy good food, good drinks, anything like that. I haven't been able to enjoy like boba like in forever, and I love boba so much. And part of that is because of the contest, and also part of that is because I feel like the universe was just actively trying to work against me for some reason. Like I just didn't understand, because I actually had to get my all 4 of my wisdom teeth removed on April 9th. And so that pretty much took me out for a week. And then I had complications. And so on April 30th, not even like barely 2 weeks ago, right? I had to go back in for more surgery. And I was just, it was so hard. Like it was so hard. I was so certain something was like actively working against me to try to make sure I couldn't get this in. And that was just like, you know, why would that happen? When would that happen? And, you know, of course it was not something that anybody was prepared for, that I obviously wasn't prepared for. I didn't realize how much pain I was also going to be in after 4 weeks. So I have like all this behind the scenes content, right, of me working on my webtoon, and my face is swollen. I'm just sitting there and I'm like so sad. Just like hardly able to like focus. But you know, like it worked out. But like, you know, I'm not really still in a place where I can enjoy like boba at the moment, but I can enjoy other things and other drinks because, you know, I'm still not in a chewing thing. Although I guess I could always get it without the pearls. I don't know. You know, this is giving me some new ideas. This is the Yap Sesh right now. This is helping me out. But my point of that is, I think it is so important, regardless of whether or not you think you're going to move on to the second round, just to take some time to rest, because regardless, you should be absolutely proud of everything that you did and accomplished getting up to this point. And I say that again as to people who were able to submit, and even to people who weren't. It doesn't negate how hard you worked and how much you were willing to challenge yourself and how dedicated you were. That doesn't negate like any of that. So you should definitely give yourself just a little round of applause for that. Help yourself feel good, you know. And I think it's just important to like make sure, like, before you get into the promotional phase, since that's really what I think this next month should be about. It should be promotional stuff, and it should also be as much self-care as you can kind of like manage to give yourself before starting to work on things. But you know, I think that's what, again, like most of this month is going to be. It's, you know, they're judging stuff and we're working on our next entries potentially. But we are also supposed to, you know, help drive some traffic toward our things. So I think it's very important for everybody to make sure that you have giving yourself the time that you need, and that even in the moment, even, you know, after this week, this is not a like, oh, take rest during these 2 weeks and then push yourself to like max capacity of what you can do, and you know, don't rest up or do anything. I think it's super important that as we are going forward in this, and again, not just the contest, right? Because our webtoons now exist outside of the contest, regardless of what happens. Because again, you know, this could be the end of our participation. Again, we don't know who's going to make it to the second round until we get to the second round on June 23rd. But at the very least, you know, we need to be able to take care of ourselves, because, you know, if we don't set these habits now of being able to balance working and resting, because it is a lot of hard work and it is a lot of stuff that we end up needing to do. If we're not doing those things now and setting those habits now, we're not going to be able to do it later. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people aren't really thinking about, where, you know, they're like, oh, it's done, so I can like settle down and be done and not think about it anymore. And in a way, yeah, that's true. But in many ways, it's kind of not, because, it's out there and it's gaining attention, and people are going to be looking at it, and people are going to be thinking about, your story, wanting you to continue, wanting to support you, hopefully, on your many, many channels. And I think, it's important for us to set those examples, because regardless of, how public facing we are public facing, and we need to set that example for the audiences that we connect with, yes, and the communities that we continue to build, but we also need to set that examples for those examples for ourselves, because everything that present JS does right now is definitely something that future JS is either going to have to look back to and go, okay, we can't do that anymore, or we should continue doing that, or be thankful for it, because, thank goodness I took the time, like right now, to give myself a moment to just be proud of the hard work that I've done, to be excited of what is to come without necessarily being like too anxious about it or thinking too much about it, because we don't know what Webtoons is going to choose or how they're going to do their judging, and we don't know the 40 people, amazingly small number, out of all of the entries that we have had this year for this contest, but we don't know who's going to be part of that 40, and I think regardless of that, everybody should be proud of themselves for the work that they did, and I'm very excited for the work that is to come. So I'm trying to wrap up this Yap Sesh. I did want to say some things in the future that you can look forward to. So like I said, this is probably going to push us into like our promotional era for the next month or so. And even though I don't necessarily consider myself like an absolute expert, I do think I do pretty well at like promoting my content in short form stuff, and trying to offset and balance short form content versus long form content. So I will have a video up on that within like the next week or so. I do want to get that out to you guys fairly quickly, so we're not waiting like the average 2 weeks. But I wanted to be able to debrief with you guys, because this has been so big. It's so surreal, honestly, to be able to like look on the Webtoon site. I don't know how many of you guys have published on Canvas before, if you have already, or if this is your very first creator submission on Webtoon like me, but it's so surreal to be able to look at that and to have like a dashboard now, to have a series under my name and a little creator feed on their platform. Like, that's so cool, honestly. And I think, again, like regardless of what happens, like at this point I can sit here and I can go, I'm a Webtoon author. Like that's just kind of cool, Like now I can say I have a Webtoon, not like I'm coming up with one or I'm working on one, which again is a feat in and of itself, right? But now I can say, yeah, you can actually read like the first 3 episodes up there. And I know I wanted to be able to promote it a little bit more like leading up to it, but honestly, it was just enough for me to be able to finish everything and be able to submit. But I will get something out to you guys about promoting. Let me know if you have any like specific questions or anything, because I have done a lot. I mean, I've worked in social media during my undergraduate years, which wasn't too long ago. But I worked in social media. I did like a lot of like content creation stuff, when we're thinking about all the stories and stuff and OC related things that I've shared on like other platforms and things like that. But it's not like a cure-all for sure. And it's not to negate or say like, oh, it's going to be a cheat sheet and it's going to save you from like all this hard work, because that is also its own feat and its own challenge. But definitely let me know if you have any questions, because I do think, I have some things to share that maybe might be of value to you guys, might help you out, or might just give you a little bit of relief. So you don't have to think about everything in the next month if that is what's stressing you out. So I look forward to being able to do that. Thank you guys so much for attending my little Yap Sesh. Let me know if you want me to do more of these in the future. I tend to do more scripted content. whether that, unless it's like the Let's Play stuff. So that tends to be, you know, pretty immediate, like reactionary, like type content. But you know, like everything else that I tend to do tends to be a little bit more scripted. But let me know if you want a future Yap Sesh like this. The promotional video that I do will definitely be more scripted because I need to know what I'm saying and make sure it makes sense to everybody. But let me know how you feel about this content and my time for promotion right now. If you have not checked out my Webtoon healing cards, definitely be sure to do that. I'm going to include it in the link below, but you can also find it in every single link on every single channel in my bio. That's gonna be standard practice, and definitely a sneak peek at one of the ways that you can continue to promote your stories in the future. But check it out. All 3 episodes are free to read for everybody. Let me know what you think. I am so excited to be able to finally share this with you guys and to be able to read everybody's stories now, because like I've been such a bad like Webtoon reader, you know, because like I've had to be focused. I couldn't even read like the other ones that like I was interested in and subscribed to before I started working on mine for the contest. But I'm so excited because now I get to go back and read all of those. Definitely let me know what your series is in the comments as well, so that we can all continue to share some love and support to those, because that's really what it is. You know, we're out trying to reach our broader audiences, but any way that I think we as a part of this community right now can continue to help each other, we really should. We should be banding together. So let me know what you think on that. Thank you guys again for coming, and I will see you in the next episode.